16 years without a license, 2 DUIs, an interlock I thought I found a way around, and zero intentions of stopping. And by the end, I was driving drunk with no license at all. This is how it happened and how I finally stopped. If you're in this situation right now, the affirmations I used to get through this are linked in the description. Grab them, you're gonna need them. Now let me tell you the whole story. The first DUI, age 16. I was 16 when I got my first DUI. I was at a party with a buddy and I borrowed his car to drive home. But instead, I went and picked up more friends and went on a joyride. As we're driving around, we get stuck at a train crossing. When it passed, guess what was sitting on the other side? A cop. He pulled me over for having no headlights. 16 years old, drunk, in someone else's car. That should have been the end of it right there, but it wasn't. The second DUI, losing it all. Years later, I got my second one. I was taking a coworker home and I was unfamiliar with the area. So I asked him where I needed to turn and he told me wrong, and a cop just so happened to see me and pulled me over. 6 months later, on May 29th, 2009, after being convicted of my second DUI, I lost my license. It was revoked. I'd only had it for 2 years, and just like that, it was gone. For 10 years, I didn't drive at all until 2019 when I finally got the interlock device. The interlock, gaming the system. 10 years later, I finally got an interlock device and a restricted license. For those of you who don't know what an interlock is, it's a breathalyzer wired into your car. You blow clean, car starts. You blow dirty, it doesn't. Random tests while you're driving, one dirty blow, and you're usually done. It was supposed to stop me from drinking and driving, but it didn't. Here's what I did instead. I'd park in my driveway when I got home, and I'd drink. Take all my single shots right there in the car. Then I'd have to time it correctly and stop drinking at certain times, make sure I ate, and try to sober up before I blew in the morning. Didn't always work though. There were mornings I couldn't start my car. I lost jobs, lost money, lost opportunities. So I thought I was slick and I bought a $90 keychain breathalyzer, and I'd test myself before I blew into the interlock every morning. Make sure I was clean, make sure I could pass. I did this for 2.5 years. 2.5 years of drinking in my car, testing myself, timing my sobriety with constant fear of failure. Until that reality became true and I got tripped up and caught. Lost the interlock, lost my license again. But here's the thing, I still didn't stop. Rock bottom. After I lost that interlock, I kept driving. No license, no interlock, nothing. Just me, drunk, behind the wheel. Every single day. And this is a part I've never said out loud before to anybody. I drove drunk more than I drove sober. Not occasionally, not just once. I was a full-time drunk driver. Coming home from work drunk, running errands drunk, spending my whole days off drunk. And I knew every single time I got behind the wheel, that I could kill or hurt somebody. I could go to prison for the rest of my life. I could lose my son and my family forever. But I did it anyways, because that's what addiction does. It doesn't stop when you lose your license. It doesn't stop when you lose the interlock. It doesn't stop when you know you're one accident away from destroying everything. It just keeps going, and so did I. That was my rock bottom. Not the DUIs, not losing my license twice. It was knowing I was a danger to everyone around me and doing it anyways. The turnaround. November 12th, 2023, I quit drinking for the last time. Not only because I wanted to, but because I had to. I couldn't keep doing this. I couldn't keep risking my life, losing jobs, lying to my son and my family. I couldn't keep being that person. And one of my biggest reasons I quit, I wanted my license back. I wanted the freedom that license gave me. Not just a piece of plastic. I wanted to be the kind of person who deserved to drive. Someone responsible, trustworthy, someone that was sober, someone who didn't put other people's lives at risk every time they turned on the car. So I started the process. 860 days of sobriety, paperwork, hearing dates, fees, hoops, all of it. Because I finally was ready to do the work. After getting the interlock back in for over a year, at the beginning of February, I had my final hearing to get it out. 16 years came down to this one decision. 2 days later, I walked into Secretary of State and they handed me my full unrestricted driver's license. Then I drove to the interlock shop and they removed the device from my car. 16 years. I couldn't believe this day is finally here. I'd been dreaming about it for 16 years. And the only reason it happened is because I got sober and I changed my life. It's weird now. I get in my truck and I feel like I'm doing something wrong, like I'm breaking the law just by driving. But for the first time in 16 years, I'm not. I'm legal, I'm sober, and I'm free. And I can finally close this chapter. A chapter that taught me everything, but one I'm never going back to. If you have DUIs and you're still drinking, this is your wake-up call to stop. If you're driving on a suspended license, this is also your wake-up call to stop. If you're telling yourself just this once, or I'm fine, I can promise you you're not. Because I told myself that for years, and all it did was cost me everything. The only way out for people like you and me is sobriety. The only way forward is change. But here's the other side. You can come back from this, because I did. 16 years, 2 DUIs, years of drunk driving with no license and no care for anyone's life, even my own. And I'm still sitting here today with my license, my freedom, and my life. Because I finally stopped and got sober and changed my life. And if I can do it, I promise you can too. Subscribe if this hits you, because I'm showing you how. The systems, the mindset, the works. Affirmations are in the description. Start there. See you in the next one.